I'm Vicky Justiz, bikini model to Brand, Florida, and today I'm going to take you through a beginner.
Vicky Justiz and Johnny Urra, thank you so much for being on People in Miami. We're super happy to have you here.
We're excited.
Vicky Justiz, she is a digital entrepreneur who is known for posting fun and relatable workout videos. She has reached massive success on her YouTube channel with over 1 million followers. She is a co-founder of Daily Thrive. She's a content creator. She's worked with global brands. So this woman does it all. Her business partner and soon-to-be husband, Johnny Urra, is the man behind the scenes. He is great. He does the marketing, the PR, the operations. So together, they are the dream team and a dynamic duo.
Thank you.
Thank you, of course. Let's start a little bit with your background. Let's go way back. Vicky, I know you were born in Russia, so let's start all the way there.
Okay, great. So I was born in Russia. My parents were, I guess you could say, college sweethearts. Well, I was a surprise. Surprise baby. They were still in university, so when they had me, they lived in the dorm. And when we moved here, I was 6. So I spent my first, childhood years in Russia. And when we moved here, we immigrated here. We kind of did it illegally because my dad was supposed to go back to Cuba and he didn't. So we had to go through a whole adventure to get here. They came here with no money in their pocket, nothing to their name, just some family members here that we lived with.
Yeah, and then you came here and it's a completely different lifestyle.
Totally.
Yeah. What did you, before becoming an influencer, because you became an influencer at a time when content creation and all of that was not a thing. It was not popular. So what did you really go to school for?
I originally was going to study biology because I wanted to be a neuroscientist. So different. And then I realized that although I loved the subject, didn't really fit my lifestyle. I wanted a lifestyle where I had more freedom to travel, to do things. So I actually switched my major to hospitality management to work in event and event management. And that's what I always planned to do. But then when I started the YouTube channel, it was just more of a side thing. But as it grew bigger, I realized I could make this my career. And that's when we decided to transition into that.
So were you 18 when you started your channel?
20.
You were 20.
I was still in university.
You were still in university and you did a little bit of modeling too, right?
Yes, I did.
So is that what helped you? Because I know you did a little bit of modeling and then actually someone contacted you to do a fitness video on their channel.
Yes. So I was hired as a model on someone else's channel. But then when I saw to do, workouts. When I saw how many girls were commenting saying that they loved working out with me, I was thinking, why don't I start my own channel, do my own thing? So that's what I did, but I didn't take it seriously. Not that I didn't take it seriously, but I didn't think it could become a career the first few years of doing it. I was just doing it as a side gig, for fun, and to just share what I knew about fitness.
And why fitness? You were always pretty active, right? When you're past.
Yeah. Well, the fitness thing kind of happened by mistake because I was hired by that other channel to do fitness content. So it's not necessary that I was I want to share my home workouts. It was more of I was hired to do that. But when I saw how many people I was able to help that way, it made me want to really do that more.
And then in school, you met Johnny.
Yes.
And then he didn't really know much about you at the time. So it was okay, she's not that big of a deal until he really started finding out, right? So how was that? How did you guys meet? What was your background like? Everything.
So we met at study abroad in Italy and it just sparks.
Yeah.
The sparks just flew.
Yeah.
But we weren't in a relationship at the time, so it was a bit how would you call it?
Tricky to
navigate. I was finishing my bachelor's in chemistry. She was in her hospitality. So when we left Italy and we reconvened in Miami, I saw she had a YouTube channel. I was like, oh, you make the money off of this. And then my brain started calculating and stuff. I was like, we should post more of this.
Yeah.
And then that's when we first started working as a team. I'll be studying for my chemistry exams. And at the same time, I have YouTube open, learning how to use her dad's
mother gets to learn to use the camera and stuff. And he's the one who really pushed me, saying, hey, you could, this could be a career. You can do this. He was really the driving force.
He was the driving force. But before that, you were set on going to med school, right? Yes. You studied chemistry and...
Yes. So the route was to go to medicine, and then I met her, and she just...
It's also going to study abroad, I think, opened up both of our eyes to how much we love to travel. And then we also realized, in hospitality and in event management, I could travel. But I think you also realize that going to the medical field, it doesn't give you the freedom like to travel how we wanted, you know? So we thought if we could explore another avenue and have our own business, then we can have that freedom.
And I remember you guys traveled a lot because I remember in the past you would post a lot of travel vlogs, right? So that's pretty much right off the bat when you guys met, you know.
It was like, no, yeah, it was like a year into meeting, like
A year into meeting.
yeah, not even a year into our relationship. We already planned our first backpacking trip through Europe. We did like, special guest. We have no one to lay on your lap. I can put him on my. No. Are you good? This is he is. He wants to be the center of attention at all costs.
That's low-key. Okay.
So we did that backpacking trip 3 months. We went to how many like countries? 9 countries.
2 months throughout most of Europe, and then the last month was with her family in Russia. In Moscow.
Oh, nice.
So that was my first experience going to Russia.
Yeah, lots of vodka.
Lots of vodka.
Lots of vodka.
So things moved pretty quickly for you guys, though.
Yeah, we basically moved in together as soon as we met. Like, in the sense of, well, I had a dorm at FIU. We didn't really move in there together yet because I had like roommates and stuff, but like we spent every night together, whether it was at his parents' house or my parents' house or sometimes
It sounds kind of freaky, but
like it's crazy, but it worked. Since we met, we just didn't want to be apart as we did everything together.
When you decided that you wanted to help Vicky, and Vicky, you decided that you wanted to be a full-time influencer, I know that Johnny was the driving force, but what made you guys really think like, hey, this could be something at a time where it was not really anything?
So Vicky, this is what we're gonna talk about. In high school, she was a part of the AAA advanced placement program, and she got one of the highest, if not the highest, SAT score. So she got a free ride to FIU and UM.
Yeah.
So that gave us the privilege of being able to like stay in a dorm for I don't know how many.
Like my last year of college, I got a dorm, like a studio dorm, but he basically lived with me. So that's where we would work out of. And I don't think it was one moment that we decided. He had a corporate job at that time. After he graduated, he got a corporate job, right? For sales, for bonded.
Door-to-door business.
He was only there for like 6 months. And it was something we thought we wanted. We even planned on buying remember we were talking about buying a little house, like right after I graduate. And then I don't know what happened. I remember one like evening, we were at the dorm, we had a little whiteboard and we were writing down things to buy a house. And I was looking at how much money it would cost to buy even a small house. And I'm like, we just realized we don't want this. I'm like, we want to travel.
Yeah.
We want to see things. Like, I don't want to buy a house right now. Like, we're too young for that shit. And I think that's awesome. You kind of decided, like, you're going to put in your 2 weeks of manage because we were already making enough on YouTube to, like, sustain us. Mm-hmm. But we knew in order to grow more, we had to put more effort into it. You know, we had to treat it like a priority in order for it to become our livelihood. So that's when he decided to quit his job. And that's what I kind of decided to let go, I guess, of my dream of working in events and like being a big event planner, wedding planner and stuff, to chase something better, something that had more potential. So,
and you guys have done an amazing job with that. So before I start getting into how to grow on YouTube and all of that, I do want to talk a little bit about success and how having such a large following now at this point, over 1 million subscribers, that's pretty big. How has that affected you guys for the better or worse? Is your friend group the same? Did you have to like disassociate? How has that whole journey been?
I think naturally, like throughout life, whether you're an influencer or you're
not
an influencer, like no matter your career path in life, you naturally start to have kids or you move out.
Like as you get older, you know, your friend group kind of shifts. But I feel like our friend group didn't really get smaller because of, I feel like it actually didn't really get any smaller.
If anything, we met other groups of people that we wouldn't have met otherwise.
Like we have really close friends now that we met because of what we do, because we went to an event or because something that we're doing, you know? So I kind of feel, for me, it's made my life better. Like I feel so happy to have also an audience of like women all around the world. Like it's crazy because you say like 1 million subscribers and then I can't imagine filling your room with 1 million people. Like,
no, it's insane.
What the heck? Like, yeah. And it's from everywhere all over the world. I don't know, for me.
In perspective on that, we felt, whether it's been in France or Croatia or Spain or Bali and these places, there's been at least one person in those countries that recognizes Vicky. Said, hey, are you Vicky?
Yeah, he saw me, and like every time I saw fans, I have such like not that I freak out, but I freeze out. Like people are real and I see like name. Yes. But I also sometimes forget that my audience is real, you know, because like you don't see them in front of you, and then when you see them, you're just like, oh my god, like these people follow me and I can impact these people's lives. And I feel like I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world. Like I love having an audience. Of course, having your life like online is not easy, but I think the positive impact that you can have like balances everything out. Like it makes everything worth it.
It is so cool. And then especially too with your videos, one, it's all positive because it's fitness. It's about creating a healthier lifestyle and all of that. But you're also very fun and relatable in your videos. You're not afraid to show the struggles. Like we're all struggling together. Your face is red. You're like, oh, I hate this. You know, like it's very real, and you don't feel that pressure to have to be perfect and super in shape to get it right. So thank you for that. Thank you for making us all feel human, you know?
Yeah. You know, it never occurred to me to try to hide that. I don't know. I kind of feel like, good. Don't like it's easier to just be myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's harder when you're trying to put on a facade or you're trying, because then you have to remember, oh my God, I have to hide this or I can't show the struggle. Like to me, that just doesn't make sense. Like I like to pretend I'm literally with a friend working out with my bestie and I'm like, let's go, we got this, but we're like dying, you know?
Yeah. And despite how great your videos are and how nice you are on camera, there are still always trolls. Yes. And there's always people that have something negative to say. Do you get a lot of that?
So when that all started at FIU and stuff, one of the first things I did was go through her comments and like literally block. The nasty ones.
A lot of trolls are guys.
Really?
Guys on YouTube like saying nasty things or like, or there's some girls that were like, oh, it's obvious her butt is fake. It's obvious this. Like sometimes I would kind of clap back and like say something sassy, but
it's hard not to.
But sometimes I would do that because also then my audience would get involved to kind of back me up, and I feel like it was good bonding. You know, we have like a good bond there,
some trauma bond there.
Like yeah, exactly. But like the really really nasty mean ones, like I just block and delete because a lot of times they're just looking for attention. So why give them what they're looking for? I'm not gonna give this out.
It's not worth it. Like you can't win against the keyboard warrior.
Exactly. Keyboard warrior, exactly. But would it ever get to you at first? Like make you feel bad, or you kind of just brushed it off from the start?
I think for me, since I was never in that realm of like having an audience.
He had like
for me, it was like a learning curve. I was like, whoa, like why do people say such nasty things? Like you don't even know the person. Like Ziggy's an incredible human being, and people are saying nasty things about her. I'm like, that's when I learned like, okay, they're just projecting whatever insecurities they might have in their own mind.
Yeah. I think what makes it easier for me is that like, even if I have haters, my content is workout videos. So if somebody doesn't like a workout or they don't like something I say, I'm just like, whatever. I think it would be different if my content was focused on putting my whole life out there, like all the intimate parts, because then you have a lot more people with opinions about how you live your life. And then I think that's where like influencers can really struggle with like haters and stuff. But I think due to the type of content I have, I don't get as many as other creators because my content, like it's workouts, it's educational, like what are you gonna hate on? And if you do, I'm just like, okay, it's not for you, like that's fine.
Right, it's not too personal.
Exactly.
How do you feel about social media and Instagram? I know that sometimes you've taken some breaks from posting. Like, do you feel the pressure to always have to look a certain way or to appeal to a certain crowd? Like, how do you deal with that? Because social media can really have a strong impact on people, negative or positive.
So I don't feel a pressure to necessarily look a certain way, but I do feel a pressure to constantly be on and available for my audience and showing what I'm doing throughout my day. And sometimes it's exhausting. Like sometimes I just want to go throughout like the day without my phone in my hand. And then I get that feeling of like, oh my God, I haven't posted any stories today. And it's like a guilt, like this is what I'm supposed to do, you know? So I think that's where it gets really difficult. But then I just remind myself, like, they're not going to all follow me if I don't post for 3 days. Like, it's fine. The world's not going to end. Like, I need to take my break. I need to fill up my own cup before I could be there for all of them. You know what I mean? To show up as the best version of myself, I think it's necessary to, like, take a step back whenever I feel like I'm getting burnt out or I need it.
Right.
With the pressure that you're talking about, like, it also, for Vicky especially, we have brands that sponsor us. And if she's not online, then that can hurt those relationships, you know?
Yes, exactly.
She needs to, it's not just keep the community engaged, but it's also, you have sponsors. Like,
you have brands that like are depending on you for content. And like, that's, I think the difficult part for me is like
separating like the real life and the social life.
Yeah.
How do you know when to draw the line?
Whenever I kind of feel like when I turn on the camera to talk and I kind of feel like I don't feel like doing this, that's when I'm like, no, because people are going to be able to see that. Or I'll turn on the camera and I'll say, guys, I'm like feeling so burnt out today. I've been so tired. I'll just be honest. But I know like,
you are very honest on camera. Like,
yeah, but also I'm also not the best at taking a step back when I need to. So like, I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm still learning. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a perfect answer for you, but I'm still learning.
And even in your relationship, you guys live together, you work together, everything is together. How do you separate work from play? Do you guys get on each other's nerves? Like, how does that work? Tell me about that dynamic.
We're not just in a romantic relationship, we're also in a business relationship, and those things can sometimes, you know, like the friction.
Right.
Because where do you separate romance from business?
It's hard.
Yeah, and if my business partner is upset with me, then that's also my romantic partner is also upset with me, or vice versa.
So how do we do it? How do we separate?
Yeah.
We try. Like, honestly, we're still learning.
How do we do it? We try.
Try our best. That's the best advice ever.
We try.
It's being okay. We each go to therapy, health therapists.
Oh, we'll talk all about that soon.
Yeah.
Our mental health, like, that takes priority over anything else. Without this, then the body kind of...
But I think also, for example, like when we have a disagreement about something work related,
There's time we call
You guys do time out?
we do timeouts. Like when things are getting heated, we say time out. That means 10 minutes. Don't talk to me because I need to process.
time out though, because our heated isn't that hot.
We don't like, yeah, and I'm not like a very, not that I'm not an emotional person, but I'm not a very aggressive, like I don't fight. Like if we get into an argument, I just instantly start to cry because I get emotional, but I don't like scream or fight or anything. And if we have a disagreement about something business related, I try not to take that like personally. Like if he's disagreeing with me on something that's about work, it has nothing to do with our relationship. Like it's kind of like separate, like, and then we also plan date nights. Like we go on dates a lot. And also when we travel, it helps us bond, even though when we travel, you're shooting content, right? Content, but still it's a nice experience. We're doing things for the first time.
It's still tricky though, because this is our office. This is where Vicky filmed right here.
And while you're working there?
Working there, over there. And as soon as you open the door, it's our living room. So it's like work and our romantic life, personal life is like very, very behind.
Yes.
So,
yeah, you're getting better. It's like, hey, did you complete that brand deal or what?
So that's something I try not to do because I had a really bad habit. I don't do it before bed, but when I wake up in the morning, as soon as I open my eyes, I already have like a million thoughts in my head of, oh my God, I need to do this, I need to do that. But sometimes I wake up, I look over and I'm like, did you send that email?
Yeah.
And he would get sometimes mad and he'd be like, I don't want to talk about work first thing in the morning. It's like the first hour of the day, no work, don't get on your phone. Yeah. So that's helped me a lot. Like sometimes I'm tempted and I'm like, never mind, don't do that. Yeah.
And I feel like you have to refresh the boundaries every now and then.
Yeah, and you forget.
Refresh the boundaries, yeah, especially as you continue to grow and you have more responsibilities. Yeah, that's interesting. I know a lot of husband and wife teams, and they be struggling a little bit.
But it's impossible for both people to always be like positive and happy. There's gonna be days where I'm low, she's high, or vice versa. And you gotta try to help each other out. Like when you're low, I'll help you out, and vice versa.
Yeah. Who's the more, like they call it work?
I'm really excited for this.
The one who's most into work, I guess. Who's the most workaholic between the two of you?
Right here.
Vicky?
This is the one.
Yeah.
She's the...
It's not that I'm, okay.
mastermind.
I had a feeling, no, it's not that I'm a workaholic. It's that when I enter a state of flow, like I'm focused on something, like I can work on it for hours. I don't eat, I don't drink water. I'm literally there. And like, especially if I'm doing something that's with design or like designing something for the app, I'm like literally, it'll be like nighttime or it'll be 1 a.m. and I don't even realize what time it is. And it's hard for me to like shut off from that. But it's not like I think about work all the time. Mostly. But sometimes I like relaxing too.
You started your YouTube channel at a time where there was less competition, so that's good. However, the bad thing is that it wasn't as popular, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you grow on YouTube? Give us some tips for that.
So growing YouTube now is different than what it used to.
Exactly. So our answer, we never started the YouTube channel. And like from the beginning, we never were like, what strategy are we going to use to grow? It was more of like, what do people want to see from us? So I guess I would say like just listening to your audience and providing something of value, at least for our channel, because there's a lot of different types of channels. There's channels that are to entertain. There's channels that are to add value. So depending what you're doing, there's going to be a different strategy. Yeah. Like a vlogger is going to have a totally different strategy than someone like me who does home workouts or educational content. So this answer will also vary depending on what you're trying to do. But I think just being patient, because you growing on YouTube is not easy. It's not like TikTok. Like TikTok literally pushes you to people. YouTube doesn't. But I know that what YouTube likes is when you can keep people on for a long time. So providing something of value that people want to see, like a workout, helps with that, you know?
How many minutes?
How many minutes what?
Should the video be, since you said keep people on a long time?
It depends, because for example, workouts, there's some workouts that are 10 minutes, some that are 20, but most of my workouts are around 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, it just depends. I think just when you provide people something that they can't find anywhere else, they're going to keep coming back to you. So what I provided was home workouts that anyone can do, but I was also just me, you know? Like my personality is what's showing through, and that's what kept people coming back and subscribing and wanting to work out with me. Even though other workout channels started popping on, people kept coming back because they liked me. So I would say like a lot of people are scared to be themselves, right? Because they don't want to be judged. But right, being yourself is the only way that you're going to connect with your audience. Like you kind of have to be vulnerable, put yourself out there, and it will pay off because you're going to make a connection, you know, instead of being like a robot.
Definitely. And I think that's what helped your channel stand out from all the other ones, because there are many other YouTube influencers. There are many fitness influencers out there and other people doing the same types of workouts. But what then sets it apart is the personality, because you know, everyone can go do the squats, the lunges, but how are you delivering it, right?
Exactly.
And that's what you make very fun and relatable with what we were talking about. Like, you're not afraid to show the struggle. So that's good. And then how about when it comes to, well, actually, when you hit 1 million subscribers, what was that like, getting it?
We were living downtown, right? Was it?
No, that's when we hit 1.5. When we hit 1 million, I forgot what we were doing. We might have been traveling. Like, the channel was growing so fast that we didn't even get a chance to, like,
get it all in. Yeah. How long did it take to get to 1 million or 1.5 then, if you don't remember?
So if we started around 2016-ish, maybe like a few years, 3 or 4.
2015. No, we hit 1
That's
million
fast.
in like 2018, 1.5 in 20. No, we hit 1 million in 2019, and then 1.5 right when the pandemic started, because it was a big growth. And then since the pandemic, it's kind of like slowed down. Like now I'm at 1.8 because, you know, post-pandemic, people went back to the gyms. And also, like, since we launched the app, I haven't put as much focus in YouTube as I should, you know, because my energy is split now. Before, we only had the social media channels. Now we have a social media channel and a whole business that we run, like, on our own. So it's...
And
there's a lot going on, a lot of
it's
pieces.
especially tricky because when you're on YouTube, you're relying on the algorithm and the views coming in or for you to get paid for revenue. But when you have your own app, you can control what you make with.
Exactly.
When you post a video, your audience will see it.
And one of the biggest reasons I also wanted to launch our own app, what like pushed me to it, because we were talking about it for a long time, is I started noticing this trend on YouTube where people would use a lot of clickbait thumbnails. And it kind of frustrated me because, especially with fitness and health, clickbait is dangerous. You know, like, you can't be telling people, oh, lose 5 pounds in a week or lose this many inches in this many days. Like, that is so detrimental. And I kind of felt like if I had my own platform, my own app, I could just focus on helping people. I don't have to think about, oh, super clickbaity thumbnail, how to get everyone's attention. Like, no, the people who are subscribers to my app, they want to work out with me, and I just want to work out with them. So like, it's very easy and simple. And that just, it feels good.
And that's the Daily Thrive app, which I've been using. And it's great. The layout is amazing. I love how you have all the programs like compartmentalized. It's great. Yesterday I did the booty workout and my legs are a bit sore.
Yeah, girl. So get those gains.
Get those gains for sure. Oh, and I will say that the reason how I found Vicky, so she was mentioning that her YouTube channel grew during COVID, and that's exactly when I found her, because all the gyms closed, we had nowhere to go, and I was one of those people that believed that you had to go to the gym to get a good workout, which is obviously not true, but that's what I thought, you know, that was a mentality. And then that's how I found Vicky, and I started doing all her workouts, and then now we finally connected, which is amazing. I'm happy for that. But I want to talk a little bit about juggling your time and everything that you guys have going on. For YouTube though, how long does it take you to film a video? How do you edit it yourself? How long from when you film it do you then post it?
So when we started, I learned how to use the camera, and I also learned how to use Adobe Premiere. So initially it was film and edit, and she was the star, obviously. As time went on, we started outsourcing some of the editing. But now Vicky's doing some of the editing herself.
Because for videos, specifically like vlogs and stuff, I started outsourcing the editing. But then I realized that in the editing is where a lot of your personality shows. The way, especially a vlog, not really a workout video, but like a vlog and stuff, that's where you can show your sense of humor, personality. And I felt like someone else making those edits, I was kind of losing my personal touch to it. So now I typically do the edits myself, just because I don't upload on YouTube as much, like maybe a few times a month. So it's not like super time consuming. But now we have Emily, she's our team member. She works with Daily Thrive, and she helps me edit as well. So what I'll have her do is make the initial cuts. So she'll like cut out the pauses and she'll do a few things, and then I'll go in after and like add my own
Clean it up
and personality. Yeah. And especially now, like Johnny's focused more on like the legal aspect of everything, like talking to the lawyers, doing the marketing, PR. So I feel like that's a job that he can't also edit. Like
I'm also HR, so.
yeah, it's like fire the idea.
Fire the star. We'll turn the show on into like the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But that's great. You guys have a great working relationship, and a lot of people, you know, who don't know the details, they see Vicky and they think, okay, Vicky's a star. It's all about Vicky. And in front of the camera it is, but a lot of this wouldn't be possible then without you in the back.
Like literally none of it.
It's not true though, because without her, I can't make this title.
Oh, wow. Goals, right? Couple goals right here.
No, but I think it's important.
Balancing.
Like I wouldn't be able to do this by myself, like for real. So like having him as my teammate and like life partner is what made it all possible.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think that's a misconception a lot of people have, that it's just me, that he's just like, I don't know.
Some people thought I was a sugar daddy.
Yeah, people always have like the most interesting opinions, right?
A lot of comments. We're traveling.
A lot of people, when we started traveling, also a lot of people assumed that we were like trust fund babies, that our parents were paying for everything. But like I told you earlier, my parents came here as immigrants, no money in their pocket. They provided a great life for me, you know, like they put me in dance and they did all these things, but everything we did was funded ourselves. Like it was our hard-earned money. We saved that money, we traveled, we found good deals. Like we did everything ourselves. Like when we moved out, it was all us, everything, you know, and we're pretty proud of that.
Yes.
It's a big deal.
Our first solo trip, we found flights to Copenhagen for like $180.
What?
Direct.
Really?
Norwegian Airlines.
Oh, wow.
But that was, what, 2016?
That was 2016, but still, we were like, we didn't even think about it. We're like, let's book it one way, we'll figure out the rest later.
Yeah. The adventurous souls. I love it. And you guys make your money together. Obviously, it's the same business. So all the money goes...
It's multiple businesses.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about income, how you YouTubers make their money, the brand deals, the app, all the different sources that a content creator has.
Yeah, so we have multiple businesses to separate liability as it is. So like the app has its own LLC. Our other social media work has another LLC. And then for other assets like trademarks, all of that, it's a separate and IP holding company as well. So that if anything ever happens, God forbid, we have protection set up.
Yeah.
And how do you go about approaching brands? Or do you let them reach out to you?
So it depends. Some brands reach out to you, and in some cases reach out to brands. I think first off is setting up, like creating a relationship with the brands. Like not just try to sell them on something or back and forth. Show them that you're trustworthy. That's number one. Like let them know, hey, I'm here to work with you. I'm not here to just take your money and run. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of brands, they have all this marketing money and they want to grow. They want ROI from it. But there's some influencers that we've heard horror stories where they get paid $20,000 and then they just vanish.
They don't create the content.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, it like a lot of brands sell us horror stories that they've had with other creators, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And we used to be just on the creator side, but now that we have a business and we're also business owners, I see it from a different perspective. Where like we worked so hard for our business, you know, to start everything. I can't imagine like trusting a creator and let's say we want to sponsor somebody and then having them run up like that's just horrible, you know, like
just take 20K and run with it and not even deliver.
It's crazy.
That becomes a legal battle at the end, and then it's right for everybody. And they will never work with you again. So you burn the bridge.
You worked with big brands. You've worked with Lululemon, right?
Lululemon, like in the fitness space, Mini Cooper. We've worked like one-off campaigns, let's say with Colgate, Audible, Amazon, like a lot of Gatorade was a big one.
And you're with Women's Best now, which I also found out about them through you.
Yeah.
Women's Best is great. You have your own line,
yes.
Nicolada, a shake, right?
Yeah.
Caminos.
Absolutely love working with them. Like they're really great to work with. We know the owners, they're great people, like super hard workers. So that's also important to us. It's not just about a brand giving us money. Like we like to form that relationship and like a thing of mutual respect. And
we've turned down deals before because the energy they brought to the table didn't align with the
it was very like, or what they were asking for us didn't feel organic for our audience. So we're like, look, no, like it's not gonna work, you know? I don't think anything is worth, I don't know, like sacrificing your own peace.
Don't sell your soul.
Exactly. Yeah, and sell ourselves.
Fitness advice. What fitness advice would you have to someone who's just getting started, doesn't really like working out? Doesn't eat very healthy.
Very easy. Something is always better than nothing. And I say this so often in my content, in my videos, that people are probably so tired of hearing me say it. But I think a lot of people, they like think that in order to be fit and healthy, they have to go like balls to the wall, right? They have to like work out every day and have to eat super healthy and they can't have carbs, they can't have this. And like, unless they're doing that, it's like they're doing nothing. And I always tell people, just start with 10 minutes a day. And on the word I go, no, that's not effective, but it's better than nothing.
Right.
You know, like you're sitting here not doing anything saying, oh yeah, I'll start tomorrow by running a marathon. And I'm like, no, just get up, go for a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk, or just
walking is so underrated.
I love walking. Like I always recommend to everybody start walking because it's so low impact. It's so good for you. Humans were literally born to walk, like since the caveman days. Like that's what we've been doing. Exactly. But I was something with something's better than nothing. And even if you stop with 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes that you weren't doing before, you know? And that's how you build momentum and you like build confidence in yourself by following through on what you said. But if you set these crazy goals of like, oh, I'm gonna work out for an hour and you don't do it, you're gonna feel bad about yourself. You're gonna feel like a failure. You're gonna like, oh, I'm giving up on fitness because I didn't do what I said, you know? And I think that's what holds a lot of people back, is that they think that they have to like, I don't know, be this crazy workout person. But if you just show up for yourself, even if it's 15 minutes a day, you can still see amazing results.
Yeah. And how about workouts, which, I mean, this is pretty biased. I'm sure you think at-home workouts are more effective, right?
Specifically on Daily Thrive.
Specifically with the Daily Thrive. What do you think is most effective? Solely doing body weight workouts or using weights?
I think it depends on someone's goals. I do still use weights, even though I work out from home. I have 2 like 15-pound dumbbells, are adjustable. I don't think it's necessary to lift crazy amounts of weights like people do at the gym. If anything, I think a lot of times it makes you more prone to injury, especially if you're a beginner. Yeah. Like you don't have to do all that. Like I've seen great results with growing my muscles with just using 2 15-pound dumbbells. It's all about doing the right exercises and doing it with the right form. So I am always preferred home workouts because I feel like you remove a lot of the barriers to working out, right? So gym, you have to get there. You have to pay for membership. What if it's full of people? What if the machine is taken? Like, and then it's just too many steps to get there. But at home, there's nothing holding you back, you know? And it's also because my audience is so international. A lot of my audience are from countries where they don't really have gyms like that. Like the US is very like, they love their gyms. But like South America, like Asia, a lot of places don't have gyms like that. Like they have no choice but to work out from home. So I feel like it's something that anybody could do. And I haven't stepped foot in a gym in like 5 years. So
no way. Yeah. And you have an amazing body. Like,
thank you.
You look great. So I want to get some tips. Like, how do you get that snatched waist, the big booty?
I know the answer to that one.
Yeah, what?
So I heard them vacuums.
Oh yeah, I've heard you talk about those.
He's heard me talk about it so much. No, vacuums are great, not only to get a smaller waist, but it's great for your posture. Like it's really, really good for you. It's kind of like an isometric hold exercise. A lot of people think it's breathing, but it's not. Like you're not holding your breath. You're using your muscle. It's hard. Yeah, not easy. But vacuum.
Stand towards the dumbbells.
There you go. That's what you're using. Wow. I know. And then for muscle growth, like specifically for the booty, because I know a lot of girls like that bubble booty look.
Tell us.
So with detail, isolation exercises are like basically the key there. If you don't want to grow your thighs that much, which thighs are still important, but like I'm a quad dominant person. So whenever I do any exercise, my quads take over before my glutes do. Like it's hard for me to activate the glutes, which is why I love glute isolation exercise. Okay. So like kickbacks with an ankle weight, or like, let's say you're doing a step back lunge, bouncing in the lunge, like staying low, that isolates your glutes more than like your legs.
Okay.
So just focusing on exercises like that to target the exact muscle I want to grow.
Okay. Good to know. We all want to look like Vicky. So do you do your own workouts? Like the workouts that you post? Are those your actual workout routine?
Yes. The only ones I don't do as much myself is like the at-home cardio workouts, because I personally like running. So that's my cardio. But when I do my at-home cardio workouts, I try to do moves that mimic running. So if someone can't run outside, they can still work out with me doing the cardio. Okay. You know what I mean? So the weighted workouts, abs, it's all stuff that I do, you know.
How many times a week do you work out?
Well, if you count filming, it's really not that much. I try to stay active like in my lifestyle, but I work out maybe like 3 or 4 times a week, like including filming. I just try to stay active. Like I go on walks, I go running, like I'm just like a jumping for when we go out with friends, we're always dancing until 5 in the morning. We're Sanders. That's the cardio, you know what I mean? Like I'm just a very like, I move a lot.
You move a lot. Yeah, but it's not the answer that one would expect coming from a fitness trainer.
I don't think it's necessary to work out every single day. I think quality is more important than quantity. Like you have to be doing the right workouts, and with the right workouts, Like you can work out 3 to 4 times a week and see amazing results, you know, versus going every day and not letting your body rest, which is also important. Right. Your body rest and take breaks so you don't burn out, you know.
And when you're in those 3 to 4 times, are they mostly full body or are they?
Well, a lot of the workouts I film for the app are kind of like full body, like Pilates based workouts. So when I work out on my own, a lot of the times I'll do weights, because I still do weighted workouts for the app, but those workouts get a little bit repetitive because when it comes to weights, there's really like a handful of exercises that I believe work the best. So I'm not gonna like put another exercise in there just to like have something different if it doesn't work. So when it comes to weighted workouts, I usually do those on my own, and it's usually the same, like deadlifts, step back lunges, like things like that. Split squats, those are killer.
Those
I know.
my maker.
I know.
Those are tough.
They are, but the tougher they are, the more results are
right.
you know.
And how about nutrition? Give me like your sample diet on a Monday versus a Saturday. Because I know you're also very relaxed and you're very big on promoting balance. Like you're not afraid to show us having your glass of wine, your pizza.
So my diet on Monday and Saturday looks the same.
Okay.
I don't differentiate between days. It's more of like an overall like.
What are you feeling today?
Like I like having nice big meals though. Like give me a big plate of pasta.
Yeah.
I'll destroy it. But I'm not, like I don't crave snacks throughout the day. And I would say we eat like, I wouldn't even describe it as clean. I don't like using that word. I just think 80% of the food we eat is very nutritionally dense. So we eat a lot of like foods that are high in nutrients, like salmon, salad.
A lot of green.
A lot of fruits. Like we love our acai bowls, you know.
Those are good.
Smoothies, like.
What's for breakfast though? Like what did you have? Well, today I don't think you had breakfast, did you?
Well, because I woke up late.
Yeah.
I fast a lot.
Okay.
Like sometimes I went into like 1 p.m., 2 p.m.
Yeah. I'm a big lunch and dinner gal. Like I love like a stir fry or a pasta. So good.
So good.
Kind of surprising, but she loves sugar. Like her teas.
I have a crazy sweet.
So you actually put sugar in your...
Oh yeah.
She puts tea in her sugar.
She puts tea. It's like 2 spoons. Okay, it's nothing crazy, but black tea with sugar and lemon, like.
Okay, you see, and these are all great things to know because people look at someone like you and they think, oh my God, I have to eat perfectly.
Absolutely not.
No, you are.
I think when people try
so hard, that's when they fail.
Exactly. And then they feel like they failed and they kind of rebel against themselves and they just start eating everything.
I've been there. You start binging.
Exactly. So I think by just allowing yourself to be like, also your purpose in life is not to just look good or like have all these goals or be like super fake. Your purpose in life is also to enjoy it, you know, to travel, to try different things. And I feel like you can't lose sight of that either. You know, like you're not just here to like, look good and
then what?
Be fit. Yeah. Exactly. Like you also have to live, but I think everything in moderation.
Absolutely.
Boring answer, but
it's the truth. It's balance. Now, how about time management? You guys have so much going on. How do you juggle everything? What are some best practices for managing your time?
PhD in juggling for sure.
Juggling all the different things. We're still learning. Like we're still learning time management. I've tried a lot of different methods. Like
time blocking is good.
Yes, give us like the tactics. What are the tactics to better manage your time?
We're still learning that though, but we're trying to like time block and then prioritize our tasks. I need to, and this is something I talk about in therapy. My therapist tells me all the time, like you're not superhuman. Like you can't do everything. You can't say yes to every opportunity. So I think it's also being honest with myself and looking at my...
for saying yes to this.
Yeah, thank you. Of course. But it's like looking at my to-do list and like saying to myself, okay, there's no way I can do all these things right now. What is most important and what can we move for like next week, next month, etc. So it's just like figuring out, okay, what's most important, what's priority, and then focusing on that with no distractions. Like that's, I think, where I mess up a lot. Sometimes if I have my phone on me, I'll get distracted. I'll start scrolling, putting my phone away and just like, you know, putting my mind to it and finishing that task. But honestly, we're still learning. Like,
and then, so now you have Emily helping you out.
Yes.
She's your manager, I think it is, or?
She's like our marketing manager for Daily Thrive, but she also helps with my own socials as well. I was very scared to hire someone. Like I have.
Yes, you've been issues. It's just been the two of you for a while. Like what made you finally realize like, hey, you know, I've grown a lot. It's time to let go and release some of this control.
I want to say that when it's just 2 people, they're very limited. Like she's the star and she edits a lot of things now. So by outsourcing, like handing off some tasks to someone else, we can focus more on just creating content.
I just can focus on actually being there for my audience and not like all the stuff behind the scenes. But we were talking about hiring someone for a long time, but I was the resistance. He was the one that kept telling me, hire someone. And I was the one that was like, no, it's going to be so hard to find someone that's going to be exactly like what I want, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been great. I mean, we still need to hire more people. Like, we need more help. But
so you went from being resistant to it to now being like, all right, I want a whole team.
yes.
Taste of it.
She got a taste of it, yeah, like it helps. But I understand completely. It's so hard to let go of that control, and you feel like nobody's really gonna do it your way until you meet the right person.
Yeah, but it's also like, I think it's unrealistic to expect another person to do everything your way.
Absolutely.
But your way is not always the best way, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it was almost kind of like pretentious of me to think that like, oh, like no one's gonna do as good of a job at this as me, because there's a lot of things that Emily does that it's way better than I would have done it when she edits a reel or whatever. And I'm like, wow, like I need to just trust people.
Yeah.
And like not think that I'm the best at everything, honestly, because I can learn from anybody, you know? And that's what I want from my team. I want to hire people that I can learn from them too, not just that like working for me and learning from me. You know, it's like a mutual thing.
Mental health. I know that you're both very big on that. You both see a therapist. Vicky, you did post a very vulnerable video on YouTube about suffering from panic attacks, anxiety attacks. What was that like? How did that all start happening?
Okay.
Because a lot of people go through it.
Yeah. So my whole life, I was considered an anxious person, but I never had anxiety, okay? So I would get like, you know, worked up, but I always said, oh, I have anxiety, but I didn't know what that meant until I really had anxiety. So in 2020, we went through a whole medical crisis with Johnny. As I'm sure we will talk about in a bit. But 2020 was also a whirlwind. We lost a lot of loved ones. There was the pandemic. We were starting the app. We were also in the process of buying our first property, which is where we are here now. So going through all those processes at the same time was just a lot. And I remember my breaking point was after I got a vaccine. This is not like an anti-vax thing. I got the COVID vaccine, but I didn't eat or drink anything that morning.
That was the second one.
The second
dose.
okay.
I didn't eat or drink anything that morning. So I got the vaccine and I'm like sitting there fine. And all of a sudden I start to feel dizzy. And like, I guess all the medical trauma of everything he went through and all the propaganda in the news, I thought to myself, I'm having an anaphylaxis. Like, I'm going to die right now. Like, I thought I was having an allergic reaction. So I literally panicked.
Wow.
By the way,
I literally dissociated from my body. They had to call the ambulance because I was like freaking out. The ambulance came. My heart rate, they took my heart rate. It was like at 155. Like as if I was running, and I was sitting down. They told me like, just drink some water and go home. You're fine. So after that one panic attack, I started like being triggered by random things. Like, and it wasn't even anxiety about anything. It was an anxiety about having a panic attack. Do you know what I mean? Like once you have one, you're so scared that it'll happen again that it sends you into a panic attack. I've been like working through that. There's definitely times where I don't necessarily have a full-on panic attack, but there's times where I've dissociated for like weeks at a time. What
do you mean by that?
So this is actually something I learned like recently, because in the moment I didn't know what it was called, but it's basically when you feel so uncomfortable in your body that in order for your mind to protect itself, it dissociates, and it kind of feels like you're walking through jello. Like it feels like you're not real, and it feels like everything around you isn't real. So we'll be sitting there somewhere and I'm sitting there, but like I don't feel like I'm real. I don't know how to describe it. All the colors are different. Like everything looks less vivid. Everything looks gray. Wow. It's a very weird feeling. But because I knew it's because of my anxiety, like I tried not to panic about it. I just kind of waited for it to go away. But that's happened a few times, and it'll last like a week or two at a time. And it's a terrible feeling because you're just kind of like, dude, is this going to be the rest of my life? Like, do I even want to live like this? Like, this fucking sucks, because there's nothing medically wrong with you. It's not like you can go get, you know, a quick fix at the doctor. It's not a broken arm. It's just something you kind of have to wait it out for it to pass. So by going to therapy and doing other things to take care of my mental health, I kind of helped like keep that away. And whenever I do kind of start to feel an anxious, like it's coming up, I kind of have learned to like talk myself down and like, hey, like you're fine, you're safe, nothing is wrong, like there's no bear chasing you, like relax, it's okay. Like I talk myself through it. So
is there anything actionable that if someone right now suffers from that and they feel it coming, is there something you can say like, okay, maybe go for a walk, or like what can they do at that moment? So I feel like talking yourself out of it takes time.
Oh, of course, absolutely. So, and I only did that once. Like going to therapy is number one most important thing. Like even if you're not currently suffering from panic attacks, anxiety, whatever, I think everybody should go to therapy. The same way that you go to the gym, you don't wait until your health is failing to go to the gym. you do it now so that your health doesn't fail, so you live longer. And I think it's the same thing for therapy. Like, you go there to make your mind better and stronger, so that when life hits you hard, you're already prepared. Like, don't wait until you're in crisis mode, because then it's a lot harder to like heal. So in therapy is where I learned to like, you know, talk myself down. But definitely going for a walk, for me, deep breathing does not work. I can now do deep breathing. And my therapist had told me that it makes sense, because when you're having an anxiety or panic attack, your fight or flight is activated. And doing deep breathing only makes you more hyper.
You're like going against it in a way.
Exactly. She says you have to turn off the fight or flight, so you have to move.
Yeah.
Run, walk, whatever it is. For me, running helps me so much. Like, I put on my running shoes and I just run, and it actually feels so good, like, to run and like, you know, finish that. But basically just movement.
Just movement. And yeah, how do you tell yourself that these are just your thoughts? Basically, like, you can't believe every thought that you have. How do you convince yourself though that that's true?
I don't. I don't fully convince myself, but it's because I've been through it before. Like, I tell myself, this has happened before and I was fine. I survived. The same thing's gonna happen now. We're gonna get through this and you'll be fine. The first time it happens, it's not so easy, because it's the first time you're experiencing it. So you can't tell yourself that. You think you're gonna die.
I think you're dying.
Like, I literally was like, I'm having a heart attack at 27 years old.
That was like, yeah, that must have been so scary.
Yeah. So, but it's also because of everything we went through with him, like seeing someone so healthy, like have to get brain surgery and everything. Like, it just, like, it kind of gave me some medical trauma as well. Like, now, like, kind of a little bit of an hypochondriac. Like, I get very like, I was never one before, but now I kind of freak out over anything.
Well, yeah, because now it's not like, oh, he looks healthy and so nothing's ever going to happen. No, even the healthiest person can still go through something.
Exactly.
And so, Johnny, that happened to you. You were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Yeah. And the same way, like, it kind of just happened suddenly.
The onset was from one day to the next.
That's crazy.
And Vicky saw it over the weeks progressing. And I went to emergency when I first felt it. The doctor basically said, hey, just go home, relax.
What's it? What were you feeling? What was Vicky seeing?
My foot felt numb, but also tingling. Kind of felt like you put socks on full of sand and rock. Like, that was the kind of feeling with little needles in it too.
Oh, that's
like
crazy.
With MS, it's so difficult to describe what you're feeling, because everyone that feels it might feel it a little different.
So random body parts that just felt numb, but maybe the other parts.
I could feel this, but I can't at the same time. I can feel it under my skin, but I can't feel my skin. But then sometimes I'll feel it under, but not over. Like, it's like a weird.
Yeah. It's like when you go to the dentist, like, you the anesthesia.
So
it's like,
you feel it, but you don't.
You're like, what is that?
Like, one part of you feels it, but the other doesn't feel it. I went to the neurologist, and that didn't work out. He did a bunch of tests, so when they did a physical test on me, like, they said, when you see me now, I look good.
Yeah.
And the majority of people at MS is they look good, but that's why they call it the invisible disease, because you'll never know what someone is going through MS. Unless they're in a wheelchair or cane, you won't think that something's wrong with it. So my third attempt at the hospital.
Because they were just like brushing you off.
Yeah. Saying it's just like, what is it like? Just like numbness.
Could be stress. Could be like.
Everything is always
stress.
stress.
Felt your eye twitch?
Yeah.
So with MS, I felt my eye twitching. Or I felt muscle spasm here. So I'm thinking, oh, it's just stress. That's not really a big deal. I've felt this before. I mean, we've all probably felt this.
Yeah. Especially the twitching.
So it's hard to differentiate, is this MS or is this not? So even now.
When they did the CT scan.
Oh, in the CT scan, it was just a.
All the doctors panicked.
Yeah.
The CT scan showed a bunch of like lesions, but on the CT scan, they can't tell if it's a tumor, what it is. So when they told us, we found a bunch of stuff in his brain. Like, I was there and like, I felt like the floor underneath me just like went out. I was like, he's gonna die and get brain cancer. It's everywhere, they said. Like, how do you survive that? We were like freaking out.
I can't imagine how hard that was at that moment.
To give an idea of how intense it was, I was admitted the 24th, and then I had the craniotomy brain surgery on the 28th. So within 4 days, they were biopsying my brain.
Yeah, and usually you have to like, you wait kind of longer to do
that for such a big.
But they like rushed him into the MRI. Like, luckily though, they did more scans. They were like, okay, it's probably not cancer, something else. They thought it was what?
I had like 10 different specialists. One for blood, one for neuro, one for anything you could imagine.
They thought it was like what's the parasite?
Neurocystic cirrhosis, which is like tapeworm. Because so when they did a scan of my brain and then my cervical, and then they said, hey, let's check out the spine too. And they did my spine. I technically had like over 40 lesions to my brain.
Like little.
But some of them were big. Some of them were, I have a big one in my brain. I still have it. It's not like they're gone. Like, I'm here talking to you and it's all there. It got to a point where the doctor came in and said, hey, just so you know, you have a big lesion in your brainstem, which means that your lungs and your heart can just stop working any second. And there's no knowing when or how it can happen. So then the next day was the brain surgery. And obviously from the 27th to the 28th, it felt like an eternity. Like, I want to say it felt like I lived a whole life in like 24 hours.
Usually to diagnose someone with MS, they do a spinal tap, and there's like, in the spinal fluid, there's like
a oligoclonal band that comes out.
Which usually people with MS, it comes out. But 10% of people, it doesn't come out. So his came out negative. So they've ruled out MS in the beginning. That's why they had to do the brain surgery, because they're like, what the fuck is this? You know, like,
that is insane.
So then obviously when you do brain surgery, it's not a minor surgery anymore.
Yeah, it was like, wait, you have the scar right here.
I do. I mean, it runs all of it. And my hair was short.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but your hair covers it a lot.
Yeah. So that was obviously, that's a trauma.
That's a traumatic,
I was on for 11 days and Vicky was sleeping in
right
the
next
same
to you
bed every single day. So she's the best teammate I have.
But also, like, during that time, I was so focused on being there for him. And usually during times of panic, not that I dissociate the way when I have anxiety, but I kind of like, I become numb, and I'm like, my mission is to be here for him. Like, I never got a chance to process anything until a year later that I started having panic attacks. So I think those panic attacks were for me not processing this experience, because after the brain surgery, we went straight into, you started losing family members and loved ones. We went straight into the app. Then we went into a pandemic. Like, there was just it was a terrible year.
It was a rough year for you guys.
Rough for everybody.
Yeah.
2020 just was
it was rough for everyone. But for us, the pandemic was honestly the least of our worries. Like, so much other shit was going on. If anything, the pandemic helped us, because right after the surgery, we got to just kind of like stay home and like...
Well, I still had to look for answers because I was diagnosed with ADEM, which is similar to MS, but it's not MS. It's monophasic, so it happens once and that's it. So then for months afterwards, I was chasing answers. So I went to see other neurologists, getting other opinions. And it wasn't until like July of 2020 that I got officially diagnosed with MS. So even after the brain surgery, it took like 6 months to get the diagnosis.
Yeah. But now you're getting treated for it. And things are looking better.
I mean, the treatment stops the progression of the disease. There's still no cure. And the treatment is not 100% either. So we still have to be really careful. Like, one of the biggest triggers for MS is stress. So we have to keep our stress levels down.
Mental health, stress management, number one.
Getting sick can also be a trigger. So his original trigger, what triggered the symptoms, was we both had the flu in 2019, but we got it really bad. And I think that's one of the things that, like...
That's one of the theories.
That's one of the theories,
It triggered it too.
So we have to be careful.
It was always in you, but that just brought it out, I guess, maybe sooner than later.
Yeah.
Although I want to say that even when I worked at Vonage, I felt something that I felt...
2017. 2017, he kind of felt symptoms, but we thought it was a pinch or something.
I went to like physical therapy for it and everything, and it went away after we went. So when my stress level went down, the feeling went away too.
Like when he quit his job.
Yeah.
And
stress. Stress is the big one. Yeah. Stress. How are you guys able to overcome traumatic situations? What advice would you have for someone who's going through it right now, and then you're coming up on top now? So
take it one day at a time. Be in the moment as much as possible. Focus on what's the problem, what are the potential
solutions. What's the next step? Like, don't think about like the next 10.
There's always a solution. Like, just because the first thing doesn't work doesn't mean the second one won't work. Like, you just go down. Like, I'm very stoic. She's very passionate. But in these extreme scenarios, she becomes like this robot that just boom. Like, she's a great person to have next to you if
you're going through something.
Yeah. Like, she'll help you resolve it.
What advice would you have for someone who maybe wants to follow in your footsteps, and if not in your footsteps, for someone who wants to create their own path and not have a traditional career?
Be yourself, number one.
Everyone else?
No, I mean, it worked for Vicky. Like, she was herself from the get-go, and people resonate with that. I feel like people can feel the energy when you're honest. When you're dishonest, it smells funny, it's like,
true.
I don't like this.
I think it's also about being patient and also approaching it, like, always staying humble. Like, I think a lot of people, especially now that influencers are more of a big thing, a lot of people, they start this and they have this certain entitlement of like, oh, like, these people need to follow me and they need to like me. But like, at the end of the day, like, your followers or your subscribers, your audience, they are the reason that you have what you have. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and you are providing a service to them by providing content. So they are essentially like your clients. So I think a lot of people treat it as very like, from like a place of entitlement. I think it's just always staying humble and being patient. And it takes a lot of discipline to do something for yourself. Like even if you're not going to be a content creator, starting any business, and we kind of like talked about it before the interview, that like we grow up in a society that puts a lot of focus on being a follower, right? Or being an employee. In school, you have teachers, you have deadlines. You don't have a lot of freedom to like choose it for yourself, in university and everything, jobs. So you never get a chance to learn how to like set your own deadlines and meet them. You always have someone else enforcing that. And I think that's the hardest part for a lot of people, is like showing up for yourself. Like no one is there watching you. No one is there, no one's going to ground you for not doing it. Like, well, you have to do it if you want to be successful. So I think that's a big thing, like having the discipline, having the patience, and also just staying humble and knowing that like these people on the other side of the screen, they're human beings. They're not just like a number. They're not just another metric. They're not just a money grab. They're humans, So if you just focus on providing value and connecting with your audience, everything else will flow,
Great advice. And you've mastered that. And you've been great as well, helping her achieve her goals and doing all of the legal, the operations and everything. It's definitely the dynamic duo and great teamwork. But thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me. Thank you for being so hospitable to guys. Like when we walked in, they had food for us. Like, do you want water? Do you want beer? Do you want coffee? Like
Sparkling.
all those snacks. Sparkling or still.
Ice and no ice.
Super nice. So
of course.
Thank you guys so much for everything.
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Thank you.